welcome to this episode of Kim in the Kitchen. It is actually Sunday, and I am actually going to do filming for our Wednesday episode. I am going to go ahead and do another one of our every plate meals. This one is the pork chops and jalapeno gravy with crispy home fries and roasted carrots. So that's what we're going to be doing today. If you notice in the background, I've already been doing a little bit of decorating for Halloween. So that's my little ghost man hanging over there. But anyway, so like I told y'all, I do love fall. So it has already started here at my house. But I'm going ahead and doing this recipe for today because I have a huge busy week coming up. We have homecoming this week and there's something every night this week. So I wanted to go ahead and get another one of these meals in for you guys so y'all could see what the next meal was. So we're going to go ahead and get this started. And I'm going to read the instructions to y'all. This is what we got. So it's going to be Yukon Gold potatoes, carrots, a jalapeno, fry seasoning, pork chops, yellow onion, scallions, chicken stock concentrate, and sour cream. And what you'll need extra when they send this meal to you is kosher salt, black pepper, cooking oil, butter, and flour. So let's get started with this. First of all, it says preheat your oven to 425. Wash and dry all of the produce, which I have done already. We're going to cut our potatoes into 1/2-inch pieces. Trim and peel cut carrots into diagonal pieces 3/4 of an inch. And finally chop the jalapeno until it is 1 tablespoon. So you have 1 tablespoon. Or 2 tablespoons for 4 servings, which is what we're going to do. And remove ribs and seeds for less heat. So we're going to go ahead and get all that started chopping up, getting it ready and on our pan for that to get started. And let's get rolling. Alright, so as you can see, my first thing is my potatoes and my carrots. So we're going to go ahead and get those started. I washed and dried all of my produce already. So we're just going to go ahead and get them chopped and on this pan. So I'm just going to put this pan here because I'm going to go ahead and put them on there. So I'll go ahead and just slice the ends off. And then get these cut. And now we're just going to chop up these potatoes in 1/2-inch pieces. And we'll put them on the same pan. I like to do meals like this on the weekend just because it takes a little longer. Weeknight meals, I like to do 30 minutes or less really if I can. Just because everybody goes in different directions around here and it's nice to be able to have it done quickly. So if they do have other things going on, they can go do that but can eat before they go. All right, so that is all of our potatoes. So now we're going to go ahead and cut up the jalapeno and get it ready. And this says to get the ribs and the seeds, so we're going to go ahead and do that over my garbage because I don't want that all over everywhere. The ribs and the seeds is where all that heat of a jalapeno is. So you need to, if you don't want a lot of heat, you need to get all that out of there. Okay, so I have it peeled, ribbed, and de-seeded. Get all those off of there. And so now I'm going to go ahead and just slice these up pretty small. It says we only need 2 tablespoons for this recipe. And this is a pretty big jalapeno. So I think we can just use 1/2 of it. Alright, so that's about 2 tablespoons. Now it says to toss the potatoes on one side of the baking dish and drizzle with oil and 1/2 of the fry seasoning. So I have this fry seasoning here. I'm going to mush that up and get these ready. Let me grab my oil back here real quick. Alright, so I'm just going to open that pack up a little bit and I'm going to drizzle a little bit of oil. Let me get y'all where you can see, because y'all cannot see what's going on here. Okay. Move all this down. Okay. So I have my fry seasoning open. So I'm going to drizzle a little bit of this oil on these potatoes. And I'm just going to roll them around in that oil so they're good and coated. Okay? And then we're going to sprinkle the fry seasoning on the potatoes. I'm going to go ahead and also drizzle the carrots while I'm here with the oil also, because they have to have that as well. We'll go home and put that on them. Get them all drizzled up and ready. Alright, so now my carrots and my potatoes are covered completely with oil. Now we're going to sprinkle fry seasoning on the potatoes. So I'm going to get that going. Okay. And then for the carrots, we're going to use kosher salt and some black pepper. Alright, and we're going to set that to the side, and then we'll get ready for the rest of it. Alright guys, our oven is preheated to 425, so we're going to go ahead and take our vegetables and put them in the oven. So they're going to go in there at 425 for, let's see, 25 to 30 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and catch a timer on that. And then now we're at the next step, which is while the veggies are roasting, pat and dry your pork chops. Season with the remaining fry seasoning, salt and pepper, and heat oil in a large pan. Add pork and cook until brown, 5 to 7 minutes on each side. So we're at that next step. So I'm going to go ahead and season my pork chops. I've already washed them and dried them. So I'm going to season them with that fry seasoning. I had a little bit left in that pack, so I'll sprinkle it on. Then I'm going to do some salt and pepper. Okay, and then I'm going to turn them, and then we'll season the other side with the rest of that seasoning. So I'll turn them over. And season, oh, I made a mess, with the rest of that fry seasoning. And salt and pepper. Okay, so they're all seasoned up and ready. I'm going to transfer these over here to my stove. I'm going to go ahead and get my eye heated up on medium heat. I'm going to put these down here. Put a drizzle of oil in here for those. I'll turn you guys where y'all can see it. We're going to wait for that to get heated up, and then we're going to put those pork chops in. They'll cook for 5 to 7 minutes. So while that's heating up, I'm going to cheat just a little bit because our other recipe came with some Brussels sprouts, and I don't want them to go bad. So I'm going to go ahead and cook them with this meal also, just so I'll have a couple different sides that people can choose from. So while we're doing this, letting this oil heat up on medium heat, I'm going to read the instructions for the Brussels sprouts, and I'm going to go ahead and get them started. I already have them washed and dried off, so they're ready to go. So it says to drizzle oil in a large pan. So I'm going to turn this eye on. I'm going to drizzle some oil in here. And then the Brussels sprouts, it says to drizzle them with oil and a teaspoon of the Tuscan spice, and then salt and pepper, and turn and cook them for about 18 minutes until they're done in this pan. So I'm going to toss them with some oil, a little bit of the Tuscan heat, which is the salt, the seasoning that they sent with them, and salt and pepper. So let me get that seasoning. So it is called Tuscan heat. So we're gonna sprinkle that in these Brussels. These are the Brussels. I'm gonna put them in a little bit of oil. Toss that around a little bit. We're gonna sprinkle with some of that seasoning. That smells really good. Okay, and then salt and pepper. So I'm gonna do liberal salt and black pepper. And I'm just gonna toss that all together. And that is what the Brussels are gonna look like. We're gonna go ahead and put those in the pan too while we're cooking these pork chops. We'll get everything cooking together. And that way the Brussels sprouts don't go bad. Because I would be so sad if they went bad this week before I could cook them. I'm gonna get all that seasoning out of there for them. So I feel like that is gonna be the good stuff right there. So we'll go ahead and put those in the pan. Our pan is heated up for our pork chops. So we're gonna go ahead and get those cooking. So we're gonna let these pork chops cook for about 5 to 7 minutes total. And then I'm letting these Brussels cook in this pan, and I'll just keep a watch on them. While this is cooking, we're gonna go back over to the counter and get some of our chopping done on our onions and scallions and getting that ready. I'm gonna put a lid on these Brussels so they start cooking. We'll transfer back over. Let me check on these real quick. I'm going to let those go for a minute more before I flip them. So, for this, we have to cut up, it says, meanwhile, while the pork chops are cooking, you're going to half and peel and thinly slice an onion. Trim thinly and slice scallions and separate the whites from the greens. So we're going to go ahead and peel our onion. Okay, we have that peeled. Now I'm going to half it. It says we only need half, and we're going to thinly slice it. See if y'all can see. I'm talking super thin, because you don't want big humps of this in the gravy that we're making. Okay, so I got half of that chopped. And then I'm going to open up my scallions, or green onions is what we call them here. And some of these are not looking too good either, so I'm going to pull some of that bad stuff off of them. So I'm going to push those over to the side, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut some of these scallions up, or green onions. And get them chopped and ready for this recipe. And it says to separate the green from the white. So I'm just going to cut the green first and scoot it over, and then I'll cut the white. So all the greens are separated. Now we'll cut some of the white part. So now what I do is take these and wrap them in a wet paper towel and put them in a Ziploc bag and put them in my refrigerator, and they start sprouting again. So we have everything chopped up. And it says we're going to take and watch this pork. We need to go back over here and flip it. I'm going to put a lid on that. All right, we're going to check in on our Brussels. They are cooking up well. Going to stir them a little bit. Turn them on low, and I'm going to put that lid back on those. Heat down a little bit because it was splattering everywhere. I didn't want them going all over my kitchen.
Update. Potatoes and carrots are looking great. We're about halfway done with them.
Brussels are cooking away and looking fantastic. And close up of those pork chops, would you? Oh my goodness. Just checking on these pork chops. They're not quite done. Just gonna let them finish cooking. But they are looking so yummy.
All right.
The pork chops are ready, so we're going to go ahead and take those guys out of this pan. Get them on a plate and set them to the side. They look amazing. All right. So for the next part of this recipe, we're going to put this back on this eye in just a second. Once it cools down a little bit, I need 2 tablespoons of butter. So I have my butter over here. Get us a knife. And we're going to cut 2 tablespoons. And we're going to put that in this frying pan. And to that, we're going to add all of those onions. We're going to add the white part of the green onions. And we're going to add those 2 tablespoons of jalapeno. So I put all of that in one bowl. So I'm just going to add that in. Make sure you get all of that goodness in there. And we're going to cook this down for just a minute. You want all of that to go together. We're going to add a little bit of salt and pepper to this pan. So get that in there. A little bit of kosher salt. And a little bit of black pepper. And we're going to let that kind of cook down. It's going to take about 5 or 6 minutes for this to soften up. You want these onions and all of this pepper and everything to be super soft. And then after that, we're going to add about a little over a tablespoon and a half of flour to this and make us a good roux for us a gravy for these pork chops. So we're just going to let this cook. I'm going to let you watch it while it cooks a little bit. I'm going to check on these Brussels while y'all are watching that cook. And they are looking so yummy also. I will tell you, I cheated a little bit on them. I did everything they told me to do, but you know, I had half an onion left and it was going to go to waste. So I may have chopped it up and stuck that in those Brussels as well. Because I mean, sauteed onions and Brussels, can't go wrong with that. So I cheated just a little bit and put that in there. But I didn't want that onion to go to waste. I didn't need it for anything else this week. So anyway, I think it'll be fine. I think that's part of this whole meal prep thing, is to kind of do your thing when you can. And if you're not that great at doing your thing, well, then they tell you exactly how to do it. So I'm not saying I'm that great at doing my thing, but I just know what I like, and I know that I love sauteed onions, and what couldn't be any better than Brussels and sauteed onions. So the only thing that could make that better is a little bit of bacon on top of there. That would make it better. But we're not doing bacon today. I'm not cheating that far, just a little bit. So we're just gonna make sure these onions and jalapenos are cooked good. Our potatoes and carrots are still going. We're trying to get all of this good and yummy. And I'm telling you, these onions and jalapenos are smelling so good. This is my first time making a jalapeno gravy, so this will be a new recipe for me too. But I will probably do this again now that I've seen it. So we're just gonna let that keep cooking, getting those flavors good and yummy. And then in just a few minutes, we're gonna add some flour to this. All right, so those peppers and onions are looking great. We're gonna go ahead at this point and add in 1.5 tablespoons of flour. And mix that together with all these peppers. This is how you're going to make your roux for your gravy. And let that get all mixed in with that oil, peppers, and onions. This is going to give it a good flavor. And then at this point, it gave me 2 packages of chicken stock concentrate. I'm going to go ahead and open them up and put them in. So both packs will go in. And that's going to cook in with this to make it taste amazing. And at this point, I'm going to put 1 cup of water in. And this is going to be our gravy mixture. And it is already looking yummy. Okay, now at this point we're going to add in these little packages of sour cream. These are 1 ounce packages and it's calling for 4 ounces. So I'm going to put 4 ounces of the sour cream in here. Let that get good and mixed in. I've got 2 more packages I'm going with. All right, so this is our gravy. Now we're going to mix this all in and let it cook a little bit. Looks so yummy. All right, guys. Look at that, would you? Woo-wee, that looks amazing. That is what's going to go on top of those amazing pork chops. So at this point now, we just put our pork chops back in this pan. That is our timer for our potatoes and carrots. All right, you guys, those Brussels are done. So I'm gonna turn them off. And we're just waiting on the potatoes and carrots to get finished. They weren't quite done, so I'm gonna leave them in for just a few more minutes. I have that pork covered so it'll stay nice and warm. The potatoes and carrots are finishing up. I'm gonna clean up my mess, and when we come back, I'll be plating and giving a tasty. All right, the potatoes and carrots are ready, and they look amazing. Now it is time for plating this meal up and giving it a tasty. I'm going to get myself some Brussels. These look so good, y'all. Even though I cheated a little bit. All right, now it's time for our pork chop and our jalapeno gravy. So let me get us a pair of tongs. I just washed all my dishes up, so we are good for those. So now all I have is just this to wash up. So I'm gonna get my pork chop. Oh my gosh, this looks so good. And I'm gonna put a little bit of that gravy on top of it. Oh my goodness. Some of those onions. Okay. Close all that up. Now I gotta bring y'all over here. And now we get to plate up some of these carrots and potatoes. So, a few carrots and a few potatoes on this plate. That is a meal right there. Okay? Oh my goodness. Okay. So, I can't even wait for everybody else to get here to eat. So, I'm just going to give you guys a tasty, and then I'll have to put it away so I can eat with my family. But for right now, I'm going to give it a tasty. So, let me get a fork. Knife and a fork. Okay. So, here we go. First of all, let's get a bite of this pork chop. Oh my goodness. That is so good. With those jalapenos and those onions. Oh my goodness. All right. Now we got to try our carrot and potato. And a Brussels for the win, right? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All of that was so yummy. Every plate for the win tonight for supper. So what we did was pork chops with jalapeno gravy. And we cheated and did the Brussels from another meal, but it was only because they were going to go bad if I didn't. So I really wanted to cook them. But this meal right here is an A+ winner for me. You guys, I'm telling you, that's a huge portion too. I am so glad that y'all joined me for this episode on Sunday, but really on Wednesday. I hope that y'all will continue to join me. Thanks for the comments and all the likes that I'm getting. Thank y'all so much for continuing to tune in. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Like this video so it gets out there, and subscribe so everyone can see me. And please tell your friends to subscribe because I enjoy doing this. I cannot wait to see you guys on Sunday for something sweet, and I will see you next time.